It is Sunday, September 6th, 2020. This is 11:16 a.m. in the morning. I just got back from having to run to the store in my antique van, which once again, just Cadillac'd all the way there and all the way home. It does not get good mileage. It gets about 6-7 miles to the gallon in town. On the highway, doing about 60-65, it gets about 10 to 12 miles per gallon. And it's not in bad tune, it's just got that much power. It's a very powerful truck. Now, I'm going to address this item specifically to all of you, and in particular my brother Michael Paul. Michael, I got your message on Facebook. I need you to understand that I am very, very proud of you. I won't go into my family's skeletons in our closet, but Michael has overcome a lot of adversity to get to the point that by any measure, any stretch of anyone's imagination, he is successful. He's got a good job, he's sober, has been sober for 5 years, has his own vehicle, and he's doing well in life. And I appreciate that. I wish I could see him. And Michael, if you ever have a day off and you just want to come see me, get a hold of me, and I will, you drive down here to southern Oklahoma, I would love it. It doesn't matter what day of the week, any time would do. We could sit in my ratty old office and giggle and talk about stuff. Now, Michael, there's something I want to tell you about. And I want to tell the rest of my viewers, and I will be addressing this on the podcast today. The National Security Agency, the Central Intelligence Agency, and a slew of other folks have notified the Department of Homeland Security that we have a problem. And we do, folks. It's called an electromagnetic pulse. Well, what's that got to do with anything? What it has to do with is this. It's looking like sometime maybe before the election or sometime in January or February or March, regardless, China is going to hit us with an EMP. How do they do that? Well, it's real simple. They explode a nuclear warhead. Nuclear! If I'm going to quote George W. Bush. They explode a nuclear warhead 3,000 feet above the ground. And what that does, it sends a blanket of static energy out, and what that does is fries the electric grid in the respective area. To totally cripple the United States, they'd have to do one over the East Coast, one over the West Coast, and one in the center. It's a big enough of a concern that the security agencies are all in a dither about it. So what can you do to prepare for that? Well, in these harsh financial times, what you need to do is rake together about $400 and order, and I am not being paid by these folks. I'm just telling you, I did vet the product. I know one of the guys that developed it personally. It's called EMP Shield. You can Google it, EMP Shield. What that does, it's a little electronic box. You put it under the hood of your car. You run one wire to the positive cable on your battery, another wire to the negative cable on your battery, and then you take the green wire and you bolt it to the chassis of your car. What that does is when that voluminous static charge comes down, it creates an electronic Faraday cage. Now, if you have like your cell phone, you want to keep your cell phone from getting killed by an EMP, find you an old non-working microwave, or even take the one in your house, and when you know that, and we'll know minutes before it happens. I don't know whether anybody will warn us or not, but you can put your cell phone in a microwave, because a microwave, by virtue of what it does, is a Faraday cage. What a Faraday cage is something to either withstand or contain microwaves. That is basically what happens when an EMP hits. Extreme microwaves hit everywhere. People that have pacemakers, it's going to kill you. Just to let you know, it will. Your house. This EMP Shield company, they sell devices for your home to keep your electricity from being disrupted in your home. It's not going to do you any good if the whole total grid goes down. What are we doing here on the farm to prepare for that? Well, we've got one generator, getting ready to buy a second one. I will be ordering the EMP Shield for the vehicles. I have not as yet. I'll probably be looking into doing that today. We are going to be installing some solar panels. But if we had to, we could survive without electricity. I mean, we've got a endless supply of firewood, have way to cook, inside, outside, without electricity if we have to. It's part of being on a farm. Now, Michael, in the event something like that happens, I will be driving up, and I'll be able to drive. We're also going to be putting in gasoline storage facilities so that we do not run out of fuel. But I will be going up to gather up your mom and your brother John. I made a promise to your mother that I would, if things got bad, I would retrieve them, and I absolutely will keep my word on that. The same thing for you, Michael. If it gets bad, I will private message you my phone number on Facebook, and that way you can get a hold of me. I've taken out my office phone. It's just a simple matter of I'm getting ready to try to go to an actual landline in here rather than a VoIP phone. It never stops. There's always something you've got to do, and I imagine in your life there's always something you have to do too. Now, folks, I gave you the information about an EMP shield. Now to a little bit of practical, purposeful survival techniques. If you look behind me up there on the wall, you will see a rifle. That is a pellet gun, and it is a pellet gun that is absolutely a joke. It's up there as a wall hanger. I have other guns that are real firearms, I mean a bunch of them. That one I used to plink with a little bit. It's a Crossman. It'll work as a BB gun or a pellet gun. You might be able to kill a small bird with it. You can pump it up numerous times to make it more powerful. The problem is it lacks any sort of accuracy. And the pellet you'll shoot at something from here to the other side of my office, which is about 12 feet, 13 feet from where I'm sitting, and it'll be off the target that much or more. So you don't want to get one of those. I gave you the information about doing a wrist rocket slingshot or slingshot. Now I'm going to tell you something else you can do. I gave this machete to my son Nick. He taped up the handle because he actually uses it. This is a $10 machete from Walmart. It's made out of cheap steel. It is some type of carbon steel. It really doesn't hold an edge that well. You can put a good edge on it though with a file. But you need a machete if you're going to go out in the bush to clear limbs away and everything else you got to do. You get one of those, they are invaluable in a camping or a bug out situation. Now, to sharpen it, you don't get the mini files, and they sell a multi-pack of files for about 15 bucks at Walmart. They sell individual files. I'm not advocating shopping at Walmart. I hate going to Walmart, but it's the cheapest place you can get stuff. Now, one other thing on surviving. Find you some cheap luggage with rollers on the bottom. You know, you can get those at Walmart too. Why? You can go to yard sales and find some. That way you can put the gear you need to take, and I will make an itemized list of gear and actually read it off to you, maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after. And there are things you must have. You've got to have a way to filter water or to boil it. So you need a pot. You can also cook in the pot. You need a way to store water. You need a way to make fire. You need to know how to bank a fire. You need a tent, or the very least a tarp that you can, and some cord that you can make a shelter from rain and from the elements. You need a machete. I'll make a list. Now, that's the program for today. Michael told me on Facebook he gets off late and he's exhausted, but he liked listening because I keep these short, and I try to, because it's about content, not the length, and I'm not making any money off of it anyway. It's basically something to do and maybe to help somebody. God bless you. I love you. And you see that up there? It says Pawpaw. That's who I am. And Pawpaw says you need to be kind.